Yeah, this new G-Eazy record, it's not good. What is this? I am just bewildered as to how trash this is. Like, Cal Chuchesta doesn't even like it.
Nope. I have nothing nice to say about this music album.
And when Cal doesn't like it, when Cal Chuchesta cannot find even one redeeming quality about your record, you know it sucks. G-Eazy, the white Macklemore. You know him, you love him, but he has really screwed the pooch on this new album of his. This thing is an abysmal 35-minute woe is me fest, a massively failed attempt at coming through with a singer-songwriter record. What is it with these rappers these days that just want to line up to be the one who's like, I want to make the worst rock record, I want to make the worst punk record, I want to make the worst singer-songwriter record. Why can't you just do what you're already good at to do? Not that I'm against people branching out, trying new things, developing, learning, growing, but the thing about records like this is that you're just sauntering into this genre without really an appreciation for how it works or how to do it well. You're just half-assing the whole fucking thing and banking on the fact that you have some clout, an audience, a following, and they're just going to mindlessly swallow whatever bullshit you do just because you're kind of dabbling in another sound in a different style.
Oh, wow, he's so talented. He can do raps and he can do sad song.
Like, every track on this goddamn thing is trash, starting from the opening cover of Everybody's Gotta Learn Sometime, which is so derivative of the Beck version of the song. Like, what? Why would you even do another version? It's like the same exact version but sucks. This isn't the only cover on the album either. There is also a redo of David Bowie's Chilling Lazarus, which comes off of his Black Star record, which, I mean, of course doesn't really do the original justice. Obviously, you only need to listen to a minute of this track to realize that. The only comment about this I think I can really make is what a strange choice for a cover, because for me personally, this song and the lyrics within it feel so specific to David Bowie, his image, his iconography, his death, his fame, his influence in the world of music. I just have a hard time imagining anybody else being able to embody that story in a song that doesn't feel like it's, I don't know, kind of pulling from it in a somewhat blasphemous way. Not to imply that David Bowie is a god or anything, but what message are you trying to send on your record to cover such a narrative in the midst of all of these, I don't know, seemingly shallow breakup tunes? Free porn, cheap drugs, trite instrumental, shitty vocals. The singing on this is awful. Track after track after track after track. And the singing is the main focus of the record. You would think that if G-Eazy was going to sing for an entire album, he would at least make the attempt to make sure that the vocals are good, but they are not. I feel like when G-Eazy is putting out tracks like Back to What You Knew, he's trying to take fans and listeners like down a really dark path. Like, ooh, this is so nasty, this is such a toxic situation, but it all just reads as performative. It's like I'm watching a bad fucking movie. Even if some of what he's saying on these tracks is based on real life events, his ability to translate them effectively is just non-existent. Much of the time these tracks just feel like they're bordering on parody. G-Eazy's utter lack of creativity and ability in these fields is also reflected in just how derivative these songs are. Like, all the things you're searching for, really? You made this trash song over what is basically just the chord progression to Where Is My Mind from the Pixies? Like, we've all heard that fucking track, dude. And Stand By Me? God, I have not heard lyrics that have made me want to throw up so quickly. So many disappointing and laughable things all over this record that make my stomach churn, like the ad-libs in the background of In the Middle, where it's basically G-Eazy moaning over a very sparse acoustic guitar progression, and then you have just like a lot of just weird ad-libs howling away in the background, adding literally nothing to the song. You know, there's a reason that guys like Elliott Smith and you know, Bob Dylan didn't have just random shouting in the background of their tracks, because it sucks and it interrupts the song. The song Nostalgia Cycle almost sounds like a really bad Flaming Lips acoustic number for some reason. There is like kind of a squeakiness, kind of a creakiness to G-Eazy's singing voice that it does remind me of Wayne Coyne a little bit, but not at all appealing. There's something about his squeaky singing voice that reminds me of Lil Peep as well, but in a very unflattering way. Part of me wonders if he thought that maybe some of the emo trap kids would have like jumped onto this because it's so sad and it's just so forlorn, and there's a lot of bad singing on it and a lot of guitars. Then with the song Every Night of the Year, I think he tries to write outside of himself a little bit, talking about a dancer being glared at by perverts and a writer who seems to be going through like a hard time emotionally and creatively, and it's just so Once more, I will say the word performative. It's transparent. It feels like he's putting on a show in a very clear and a very, I guess, embarrassing way. The whole thing just reads as very inauthentic. However, what does read as authentic, though, is this incredibly cringe closer, Had Enough, which is bitter as fuck. And it seems like he's really just kind of rapping about Halsey and their relationship kind of dissolving, coming to a close, essentially. And I don't know, this is a really unflattering track. Like, this should have stayed in the drafts, sis. Also, the Eminem-ass hook on this song, too, does not sound great either. I just don't get what he was thinking with this song, and really this album in general. Again, instrumentals feel very cheap, very basic, very unflattering, ugly some of the time, and not well produced. The singing is terrible from front to back. There is not a single good vocal performance on this album. I dare you to find one. You can't. The songwriting is unoriginal, flat, boring. Emotionally, the whole thing is really hollow too. Not a whole lot going on there. The writing is pretty subpar as well. I will say that the only silver lining to this record is that it is short. It's short. It's just 30 minutes and change, so it doesn't really take up too much of your time. So I guess if you are the masochistic type and you don't want to suffer for too long, you could give this thing a listen and, you know, not be hunkered down with it for maybe longer than you're willing to stand. But yeah, I mean, G-Eazy's music previously was mediocre, but this is absolutely laughable, and no idea what he was thinking with this one. This is very not good.